Hey guys, it's Leesh, and welcome to another episode of Car Confessions. Guys, listen, I am just leaving work, a little tired. I think it's the rain. It's been raining here in the city. I don't know if it's been all day or not. I don't have any windows in my office, so I couldn't tell you what the forecast is throughout the whole day. Pretty much every day that I'm at work. So yeah, but now it's raining and I'm just like ready to go home and cuddle up and just chill out. You know what I'm saying? But how are you all doing? What's happening in your world? Hopefully you're doing well. I am doing pretty good. I have to apologize because I didn't post a podcast episode, or I didn't record rather a podcast episode for Monday. It was just so much going on. I was actually uh, not planning. Well, I was planning the baby shower, and then we had the baby shower this past weekend for a really good friend of mine. So I was like super busy. So apologies for not actually having a podcast episode for you all this past Monday. But no fear, I'm back. We are back in business for this coming Monday. And it's so crazy. Like sometimes I get really like in my head and like freaking out, like, oh my gosh, everyone's gonna be so upset that I didn't, post a podcast recording, whatever. And I'm learning. There's a light flashing back there. It was very weird. I'm learning that I have to take care of myself, right? And sometimes that means everything that I want to get done, it's not always going to get done. It's just the nature of the beast. You know what I'm saying? I still apologize for it, but at the same time, I knew that I was doing so much. It was just no way. I mean, there was a way, but it wouldn't have been quality, and I'm just not that kind of person. I want whatever I'm doing to be, good quality, and for you all. Yeah, all that to say, I am doing things to take care of myself, and I hope you all understand that. But yeah, moving on here. Listen, it's Wednesday. Let's start there. It's Wednesday, March 5th. And I decided last night not to watch the speech that Trump was giving last night. It was like the State of the Union. I don't even know because I refused. I refused to even know what the hell was going on as it related to that. And I think it was the State of the Union. Let's be serious. But went on and I watched a program that Roland Martin had put out, and it was actually a 24-hour program, so you could kind of like pop in and out whenever you wanted. And so we watched a little bit of it, and then like after a while, it was just too much for me. I needed like to take a break from all this stuff because I realized like no matter where you are in this whole thing, definitely be informed, right? But I personally can't get so caught up in it that I am making myself upset and angry about these things. Because at the end of the day, it's like in some ways that's like the point of it all, right? It's like for you to get so upset and so worked up about it, and you're like losing your mind about the whole situation. That your actual nervous system and your sense of peace is completely deregulated. Side note, this noise here, guys. So like when I put things in my seat, I don't know if this is like this in your car. When I put stuff in my seat, it makes a noise because they think someone's sitting there. So sorry for this noise. It'll end eventually. Work through it with me. Work through it. But yeah, so I literally had to turn it off and just center myself and watch something that brought me more joy. And honestly, what we were watching, which is literally one of my guilty pleasures. I don't know if y'all know about this show, but it's on YouTube, and it's by this guy named Drewski. If you know who Drewski is, and if you know Drewski, he does all these like parody type of shows, right? He did a show called Could Have Been Records, and so like Could Have Been Records is like basically where he's auditioning these singers and rappers and just different people who are in the entertainment world, and he's like telling them that if they make the cut, he will sign them to his record label, Could Have Been Records. Okay. It is so ridiculous, like to the point where you're just like, I can't even believe this is happening. But here I am watching it because it's hilarious. Well, not only does he have Could Have Been Records as one of his shows, he also has now, oh, praise the Lord, that's off. God bless America. That was wearing me out. Anyway, he also has now this show that he has. It's almost like, I don't know if y'all remember Flavor of Love with Flavor Flav. It's on those same lines, but obviously it's more of a parody than Flavor of Love was, even though Flavor of Love, let's be serious, that was just straight comical. Yeah. But he now has a show called Could Have Been Love. Guys, he has picked these women, or I don't know if he handpicked them or how it was, because I really wasn't paying attention to that part of it. Also, because I was like halfway asleep, so I have to go back and like start it all over again because I was so zonked out. But I turned that on just to get some laughs in. Once I find out more about Could Have Been Love, I will let you know. But from what I saw so far, it was like the introductions, because everyone was coming to the house because they're staying in this like mansion. The women are, and they were being introduced to him, the whole nine. And so I'm pretty sure it's going to be something completely off the charts, crazy and outlandish, but hopefully funny nonetheless. Yeah, so that's what I was attempting to watch before I fell asleep. I just, listen, me and TV shows, I do my best. And thank God my wife and I are very similar in that way. Like, I can't stay awake a lot of times. I'm doing my best, especially if it's like hitting about 8:30. You might have another good 20 minutes in me to watch something. And then after that, I'm gone. Like, I am gone. And it's not on purpose. I'm wiped out. I'm tired. The day has dayed. And now it's time for me to lay it down. So, yeah, I think I started watching Could Have Been Love last night, like around 9:30ish, and that was late because I was watching that other mess. I shouldn't say mess, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, I refuse to watch the State of the Union. I've heard some things today about it, and obviously, I'm going to take in the information that's needed and know what I need to know. I just can't succumb to this toxicity and evilness that's in this country, or that's in this leadership, because in my opinion, I mean, there's some people who are not so nice. Like we can't ignore that and pretend like that's not a thing. But I feel like the majority of people in this country really want what's best for the country, really want what's best for everyone. And I think more people are waking up to the fact that we live in such a fascist type of regime, and it's been going on for a long time. But a lot of people didn't, they weren't affected by it, i.e., white people. And so it never was really something that was major cause for alarm, right? But now that more people are involved, and now that more white people are involved in this scenario, it's the basically the shit's hitting the fan, right? And I guess for me, I'm just at a point now where it's like, of course we have to raise awareness around it. We have to call out the bullshit. We have to do what we can to like fight against this whole system. But it's like, when you think about it, I mean, there's levels to it, what I'm about to say. But when you think about it, like and I'm just tired, guys. If you're looking at this on YouTube, I'm wiped. But if you're thinking about this, we have been dealing with the same type of fight. Sometimes they've inserted different issues, but it's the same things that we're fighting about in order to maintain this country. And I'm like, at what point do we stop fighting about this stuff and actually just take care? Like, what is this? What is this? I mean, it's one thing for Democrats and Republicans to disagree on certain policies as it relates to, maybe certain language that's around things that are helping people. And I'm talking about the sheer things that are out here to help the people of this country. Yeah, we can disagree on how we implement something or how it's rolled out, or it's the same thing. But you know what I'm saying? Or how, certain benefits are divvied up. Like, those things can be debated, but at the end of the day, the hope is that we are doing what's good for the greater good. But a lot of this is us fighting just to have basic human rights and not be bamboozled by big business and whatever is going on with these billionaires, right? Like, it's crazy that it's even come to this. But at the same time, we have to remember a lot of the politicians have been bought and paid for a very long time, It's just that Donald Trump and his whole crew are just putting it on the forefront in ways that we've just never seen before. And so it's been very nuanced and it's been very secretive, kind of like behind the curtain type of approach for a very long time. And, with his arrogance and, whatever, I say stupidity, like he is just putting it out there. It's like, yep, this is how it rolls. This is really how it goes. So, people, even myself, because as I'm saying, it's like, oh, yes, this makes sense now. Because I was questioning, I was like, how the hell is Elon Musk, like, in the Oval Office during these press conferences, saying what he's saying, stating these claims, this, that, and the other? How is he able to do this, right? And then I realized, I was like, these people might not have been in the Oval Office prior, like these billionaires and everything, but they still had a say. They weren't literally on television like the way Elon Musk has been, but they still had a huge stake in how things were ran and these different bills that were passed and the lobbying and all that was done by way of these big companies, big organizations, and by the billionaires getting what they want. So it's always been a thing, but it hasn't been to this magnitude and it hasn't been this off the charts, right? So we're seeing it on an extreme level, which is very crazy. But at the same time, it's like, yes, this is kind of like what's happening the whole time, guys. Like, So it's disheartening. It's all the things, right? It's just like, what the hell? What the hell, right? I just don't know. I mean, I know, but I don't, right? I know that this country needed a shakeup and a wake up call, right? And it's unfortunate that it had to go down like this, but I think until people are affected by a certain situation or issue, they don't care. And I don't think it's in a way of like malice. Well, sometimes it is. I'm not, let's not pretend, but people just don't care. Like, it just does not affect them. So it's like, what's the big deal? I don't see the problem, like whatever. And now that it is affecting them and it's so far gone, like the situation is so far gone now that it's like, trying to make things right, it's going to take a while. And then it's like, on top of that, it's like, what is making things right at this point? Right? Like, are we asking for all the things? Are we asking that, we receive like what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. And right now I'm tired too, so it's not helping the situation. But like, when we are asking to, you know, for instance, like the whole thing with Medicare, Medicaid, obviously that needs to be dealt with, and that doesn't need to be a thing where people aren't receiving their health care. So that's understood, right? But the idea around just how we move forward after all these things have been rectified and like, we've stopped the whole implementation of, cutting Medicare and Medicaid, all these other things. Are we going back to business as usual? I'm saying, like, say all these things happen. So they block this, they stop that, they stop this. Are we still going to go back to the way that this country has been operating? Because contrary to, a lot of people's beliefs, Black people in particular have not been treated fairly in this country. Just not. And this is not like what was Black people type of thing, but it's like, okay, now that we know all this shit is happening and we know how the country has operated for so long, what are we going to do to ensure that the changes that are implemented will benefit everyone? And what are we going to do to change how we have operated for so long? Because this is not sustainable, guys. Even if everything is implemented, put back into place, whatever, there's still so many cracks in the system that need to be fixed that it's like, okay, are we going to just like, super glue these cracks and hope for the best? Or are we going to really just change the structure altogether and start on a new foundation? Like, what are we going to do? And I, for one, think the latter. I think we need to start on a new foundation. Because I feel like the foundation that we have been operating on is so flawed is so shaky. There's no support there. We have to start afresh, and it seems like, oh my God, no, we have to do this all over again. I think we have to do this all. Actually, I know we need to do this all over again. We need to start anew because what has been happening, like I said, it's not it. Like it's not it, guys. And we really have to come together and just really, have that come to Jesus moment and say, you know what, guys, it hasn't been working. We need to figure out a way to make this work for all the people in this country. And is everyone going to be happy? No. I mean, that's just whatever. But we can't sit here and pretend like a lot of these inequities and all this stuff are by way of racism, capitalism, all the isms. And we have to figure out how to make this work, like I said, for the benefit of all. Because right now, capitalistic society that we are functioning on, it is driven by way of fear and racism. Like those are the two of the main driving forces of capitalism in this country. And it's like, and how long are we going to continue that? It's exhausting. And this is someone who deals with this stuff on a daily basis as a Black person. It is exhausting. It's like, okay, enough already. Like I've had it. Like, what else can you possibly take from us, and not expecting type of major retaliation, right? And I'm not saying anything violent. Retaliation doesn't have to be some crazy violent act, but you can't expect people to continue on dealing with the same old, and think that you're just gonna come out unscathed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. It is crazy. But at the same time, when you've been someone who has been unscathed for the majority of your life, why would you question anything else beyond that, right? It's like, who's going to check me? Like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? Someone might call you out for a second or two and be like, oh, wait for it to blow over. We can go back to the way we used to operate, And then here we are. And the hope is that we don't do that. The hope is that, like I said, we start really creating change, really start looking out for one another. And no, things aren't going to be perfect. You know what I'm saying? That's just not going to be a thing. But we have to start with something. We have to do something different, completely different. I don't know what that is. It's just Leesh in her car, just saying what she's saying. But like, we have to figure out something different because this shit ain't working. Like, even Trump officially got in office, there were still things that needed to be flushed out. Within the Biden administration. Within, you can keep going back. Trump's 2016 and that whole regime. Please, oh God. Even down to Obama. Like, there's systemically this operation that we have here in America. It works for a few overall. I mean, there's some things, but overall, like, really benefiting from us paying taxes, all the things. Like, when you think about it, it's like, where's all this tax money going? And this, you could say this from for years and years. The money we pay in taxes is going to wars. It's going to fund Israel. It's going to fund other Ukraine, and nothing against Ukraine and all this stuff, but it's just like, where do the American people fall in terms of actually seeing the benefits of their tax-paying dollars? Like, what are we seeing from that? Like, why are we paying into this system? And the roads are like crap. Education is like through the roof in terms of affordability. We're taxed for everything. We have to pay income tax. We have to pay property tax. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, where are the benefits of any of this? I really want to know. I'm being so sincere right now, So yeah, so the system definitely needs some uprooting and rerouting and all the things. Because it just doesn't, to me, it doesn't make any sense. And it doesn't make any sense that we are, like I said, paying into this system. Meanwhile, a lot of us are just on the struggle bus. Like, it's just, there's no real benefit to any of this. You know what I'm saying? In my opinion. This is just Leesh's opinion. But yeah. Yeah, so I don't know, guys. I have no idea. I mean, I know what I would do, but Leesh isn't running the country, so there's that. But if I were, I would definitely, figure out ways to where we can, stop funding all these different things that really aren't benefiting us. And then on top of that, it's like thinking about the fact that, okay, do we have to just face the music that this country is really just a war machine? And that's how we operate? Because really at the end of the day, that's what we are. We have to be in some type of war, we have to be in some type of conflict, That's pretty much all I've ever known. We've been in some type of something that requires war. So can we then step away from that? What would that look like if we stepped away from it? I don't, who knows? But I feel like at some point we have to figure this out because it's gone on far too long. It's just way out of hand. And who knows? Who knows? I don't know. Lee's just spitting her thoughts. I think this guy's on the phone. I don't know who he's talking to. Hopefully he's on the phone because no one's standing next to him. Anywho, guys, I'm home. I am about to go upstairs to get in my house. It is raining cats and dogs out here. Like, it's progressively gotten worse since we've been talking, guys. Luckily, my door's not too far from here. Thank God. Hightail it out of here. But yeah, guys, we got to figure this thing out. I don't know how, but something's got to give. Seriously. Something has freaking if. All right, guys, I'm going to head here in the house and, yeah, cook some food and get my life together for a bit. But I love you guys. And like I said, let's just keep on keeping on. I love you. And listen, I'll see y'all next week. All right.